Hey everyone, this is Disc Junkie and welcome back to Disc Junkie's Jeep. Today I'm going to do a very simple little modification. Picked up a couple of these, actually more than a couple, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of these hinge covers, which are basically just plastic, and you just put them on using like this adhesive, which comes prepared on the back. Show you how they look. There we go. Not sure how good lighting is. Then you just have like these adhesive strips on the back, and then you place them, well, over your hinges basically. I'm thinking mainly for looks. Obviously they will protect a little bit from scratches and stuff, but in terms of like water, corrosion, that kind of thing, I don't really think this makes much of a difference, to be honest. But I'm just doing it for looks. So yeah, first I'm just gonna go ahead and clean off the hinges, and then I'm just gonna put these on so you can see what they look like. Now, a bit of a heads up if you're doing this. Most of the eBay auctions that I've looked at tend to sell these either as 4 pieces or as 8 pieces for the 2-door Wrangler and the 4-door Wrangler, which is obviously fine for all of the hinges on the door. But you don't want to forget the fact that you also have 2 identical hinges on the front hood of the car, and I would obviously also like to place covers on those as well. Also, there's a really weird detail which I think is worth mentioning if you want to do this. The hinges on both sides of the car are basically mirrored versions of each other, meaning that, you know, you have one version for the left side and one for the right side, and they look the same, but they're mirrored. So, you know, when you bought these like 4-piece or 8-piece or whatever, then you get like these pairs. You get one for the left and one for the right. And I thought like, well, you know, I will just pick up an additional set to cover the hinges on the hood. But surprise, surprise, the hinges on the hood are actually exactly the same. They are not mirrored in the sense that there's one for the left and one for the right. So this basically forces you to either buy an additional full set of 4 pieces, you know, 2 left pieces and 2 right pieces, and then you can use the proper pieces for the hood covers. Or you will have to go and pick up a specific auction which actually sells hood covers, quote unquote, which is basically exactly the same as the side covers, but they are 2 left pieces, or if it's right pieces, I don't know, but here you can sort of see what the hood hinges looks like. So just want to sort of flag the issue that the hinges on the hood are exactly the same. Both the right and the left are exactly hinged in the same way, just so you don't think that you can just pick up an additional 2-piece of hinge covers and then it will match, because it won't, because usually you will get a left and right side cover when you purchase 2 pieces. I don't know what I'm doing with my fingers. Fuck it, let's just move on. So just a heads up in case you're purchasing this, remember that you do have 2 additional hinges on the hood. I'm not sure if everybody wants to cover those up, but if you do, you know, just remember to account for those 2 extra hinges, because most sellers tend to not include them in like the package. If you purchase a pack of 8, I would probably try to just contact the seller and tell them that you want the extra, because I actually used 2 different sellers, but what I realized is the ones that I've received, they are extremely identical. I don't even know if you can tell the difference, but basically the one on the left is actually slightly glossier, whereas the one on the right is much more matte. You can basically see that there is not much of a reflection in the one on the right, whereas the one on the left has a much more reflection in it. But that's it. So now I'm just going to clean this off and put the hinge covers on, and we'll see what you think. All right, so I've now put on the hinge covers, and I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'm gonna start by showing you the glossy ones, which I used for the hood, and quite frankly, it feels like the glossy ones don't fit as well. You know, I've tried to get this on here, but the sort of adhesive doesn't really take on this. It seems like it's wants to bend upwards. I'd really tried to press this down, but now it's basically just stuck there because the extra plastic piece here is sort of pushing on it, but otherwise it doesn't feel like it's actually on there. So not a good review for the glossy ones, and also the glossy sort of extra parts don't feel like they fit very good at all. Now the matte ones, these look better, feels like they fit better too. It's not nearly a question of, you know, that they fit very well. I would say that they fit so and so. I mean, you can sort of see the whole sort of edge here. And I mean, I tried to really get these on here as good as possible. The big part of the covers right here, actually, you know, really easy to put on. These sort of plastic tube things, they are much more difficult to get into good position. Just show you on the last one how it's done. This is the glossy ones, and these came with 2 strips on them, which feels like it's not actually enough, whereas the matte ones came with 4 strips, which feels like it actually works. Got the adhesive strips off there, then you basically just put it into place like so, and then you just push it on there. Pretty easy to get on there, you know, pretty fitting, at least these big parts. You can just look from the top. I would say it looks pretty decent. I mean, for the price you're paying, I thought they would look better. Definitely thought that the extra pieces would fit better together. I mean, they don't even go down properly over the top edge there. And basically when you put them on, this is what the piece looks like. It's got little strips in it as well, which you have to peel off. You basically just push them on here and sort of slide them down, which, you know, is a lot easier to do when you don't have the adhesive on there. But overall, I'm not really sure if they're worth the price. If somebody says, you know, I want to get these plastic hinge covers, I would probably say don't. I don't really think it's worth it. I mean, I bought this and I have them. I don't think I'm going to use the ones for the hood, because I think these matte ones, they actually look pretty good. They look much more metallic, whereas the plastic ones that were sort of glossy, I don't feel like they look metallic. Plus they didn't really fit on there any good either. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna skip those for now and see if I can purchase an additional couple of these. Also, the design is actually different on these 2 versions. The matte ones, they come with 2 different pieces. They come with these pieces, which has the little plastic cover on the end. The additional part which you're gonna add looks like this. So this is just a tube with nothing on the end, which is actually different from the ones I used on the hood. They actually have the same style, but they have the covers on both of the ends. So they are identical in terms of both pieces are identical, and they also fit quite poorly, to be honest. And I don't know if that's just an issue with the hood, because the hood hinges are in a different angle. It might be, but overall I'm not liking the glossy ones. So if you want to add this, I haven't really decided on what to do, because actually I quite like the look of this, whereas you just have this part cover, because it sort of looks like you've replaced just this hinge part. I mean, if you want to get this on here, it's really easy to do, much easier than the other part, and I'm just going to snap it on here without taking the adhesive off, just to sort of show you the difference, and you can sort of decide for yourself. They're not snagging on anything, or they're not falling off, so in terms of functionality, they definitely work for a cheap price, but you get what you pay for. Fucking see, now I've even cut myself on this shining fucking plastic piece of shit. But the matte ones were okay, but don't buy them anyway. Also, in terms of the little plastic covers, I would advise you actually don't remove the adhesive on this, like remove the strips, because they're so easy to just push on there, and they're much easier to sort of get into position. I mean, they're tied on there, so they're not gonna fly off. That's it. All the 4 pieces are there. I'm gonna continue by trying to remove that hood cover without getting any more blood on my hands. So thank you very much for watching, and as usual, hope to see you all next time.